I'm going to be showing you how to make a cookie cutter in Fusion 360 using the Bella add-in from Sam's Cookie Company, and I'm going to link to her website in the comments below this video. The Bella add-in is super easy to use, and it makes a cookie cutter in one click. And your cookie cutter appears right before your eyes, and it is a wonderful, sturdy, strong cookie cutter that's going to last forever if you take good care of it. The first thing that we need to do is bring in our clip art or SVG. You can use either one, but when I'm using an SVG, I go ahead and I sketch over that SVG because I like the quality of cookie cutter better when I use my own sketch. So the first thing I'm going to do is come right up here and I'm going to click on this icon. If you don't see this icon, then you can click right here on Insert and then hover right here and you'll see it'll explain to you what canvas is. Then you click on these three dots and make sure you have Pin to Toolbar check marked and it will show up right here in your toolbar. So I'm going to choose the canvas here and I'm going to insert from my computer. I need to go to my desktop and choose the pumpkin PNG and then click open. And Fusion 360 wants me to select the plane that I'm going to build this cookie cutter on. I always tell people to look at it like this. This is the floor, this is a wall, and this is a wall. And right here is the corner of your wall. And we are going to be building on the floor. And this is basically looking at the bed of your printer. So I'm going to choose the floor by clicking on it. I can scoot my pumpkin over if I want to. I can click and drag right here to make it larger if I want to. I can also, if I'm working on a cookie cutter that needs flipped, like for example, words that when you cut your dough out, you know, you're going to have to flip your image because it's going to be in reverse. So you can flip it right here. You can also use this little icon. You can see that little tool right there to flip it. But this is a pumpkin, so it's not going to matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And then I want to click on the word top right up here in the right hand corner. This is our view cube. So whatever word I click here, that's the view I'm looking at. The top view, the right view, the left, the front view, the right view. And you can click on these little rectangles that turn blue to flip it. And obviously, you know, I can't see my clip art because it's like a piece of paper laying flat on my print bed, basically, if you want to view it like that. But I'm going to click the house so that I can get this view. And then I'm going to click top because I want to look at it from the top. So I'm looking at this from the top down and I'm going to be sketching right over this pumpkin. But first I have to tell Fusion 360 what size I want this cookie cutter to be. So I'm going to come right over here and right click on the word pumpkin. Now, if you don't see the name of the file that you brought in, just click on this toggle and it should show up right here. Then you right click and click on Calibrate. And Calibrate is just measuring the PNG. We're basically telling Fusion 360 when we click from this point to this point, how big we want our cookie cutter to be. I'm working in millimeters and I want this to be 88.9 millimeters. And it's going to get what looks like really big, but it's not that big. I'm just going to zoom back out. I'm using my trackpad and my two fingers in a pinching action to zoom in and out. But if you have a mouse, you can use the roller to zoom in and out. You can also use the zoom tool here. And you can also click on this tool to make it fit within your screen. Now, if you choose to zoom, you're going to get this tool right here. And whoops, let me click it again. You can scroll in and out. And to get rid of this tool, if it seems like it's stuck on there, just push the escape key and it will go away. All right, so we have made this image. 88.9 millimeters. That's what our cutter is going to be once we finish up our sketch. I'm going to click right here on Create Sketch. And it's going to, you're going to see this little image pop up here. And this again is telling us we need to select a plane to build our cutter on. And remember, we are looking at it from the top down. So this is the floor. I'm clicking on the floor here because I want to build my cutter on the floor or the base of my, the bed of my printer. So once I clicked sketch, you see these tools popped up right here, and then I have the sketch palette menu on this side. All I need to do is click right here on control point spline. Now some people will use the fit point spline, and that's fine, I use it too, but I really like this control point spline because I can really control my line. It gives me just a lot more freedom, I think, when I'm moving things around, and I just like to use it more than I do this one, but you can choose either one of these. So I'm going to select control point spline, and you'll see my cursor turns into a plus sign. I'm just going to begin right here on this curve of the pumpkin. Now you don't have to start right on the edge of your clip art. You can come out here a little bit if you choose to, or it's just up to you. And the more you use this tool, you'll figure out what works. So I'm going to click right here. And this black line is what you need to pay attention to. As I start to click, you're going to see this dotted line pop up. Now, to me, this is like drawing with a piece of string. Once I click, if I'm clicking really close on this clip art, you'll see when I come around here to drag, see how that black line is inside of the clip art? And I don't want that. So I'm going to place these dots just a little bit outside of my clip art. And I want to undo that, so I'm going to push Command Z. You can also push Control Z if you're on a PC. Now I'm going to start coming just outside of my clip art, paying attention to that black line back here to make sure that it's landing where I want it to. And you can make as many points as you want or as few as you want. As long as you get it laid around your image, you're good. And you see how I'm coming a little farther outside now? Because I want to wrap around pretty close to my PNG. Now, if I come to this point and I want to stop and I want this point to be sharp, I can click on this check mark and then come right back to this point and start again. And that will make a sharp corner there in that turn. Another sharp corner, I can click this check mark and come right back to this point and click right on it so that everything is connected. And then that, we will click on the point and click the check mark because we're done. Now I'm going to click select, and when I click on this pumpkin, if it's a closed shape, it will turn blue. And it is closed. Now, if this did not turn blue, that would be because somewhere on one of these points I didn't click right on it, and I would need to bring those points together. But just be careful that when you click that check mark, you come back and click on the point where you ended. Now, here's the part that I love about this tool. See those dotted lines and this dot, how I'm dragging out here? I can really I can have a lot of control over where this blue line is. See that bright blue line? That's the outline of my pumpkin. Now I don't need to pay attention to the dotted line so much now. I'm paying attention to this line that's turning blue. And I can really, if I want to, I can really bring this line in and snug it up right around my clip art. But here is what my pumpkin looks like. And I check to make sure everything looks smooth around it. This area here could be a little more smooth, and I think that looks good. I may want to bring in the stem a little, just so it has that nice little curve like a pumpkin stem. All right, so there's our sketch. That's basically all we have to do. We click Finish Sketch, and then I'm going to, it'll think for just a minute, and then you'll see this toolbar pop up again, and we're going to click with this blue, click Sam's Cookie Cutter Maker Bella. And I want you to see the cutter, so I'm going to click right here on the house to make it at an angle. And when you click on the icon, Sam's Cookie Cutter Maker Bella, you'll see this panel pop open. Now, normally it pops open small. And if you can't see everything, you just click right here and you drag this out so you'll be able to see all the different measurements. So my cutter width is 3.5 inches. Remember, we calibrated it to 88.9 millimeters, which is about 3.5 inches. My height is 3.1 inches. The cutting edge depth, the cutter depth, the handle size, these are all the defaults. And I leave these at the default. You can change them, but sometimes when you do that, you might get an error code, or your cutter may only pop up with the wall and the edge. So I leave mine the same. I have Launch 3D Print selected, and because I've set up Prusa to work with Fusion 360, it should send my cutter directly to Prusa. We'll take a look and see if that happens. I'm going to click OK, and Fusion 360 computes, and there's your cookie cutter. Now, I'll look at it from the top view, and I can look at it from the side view. I'm just clicking the different arrows here, the toggles, and I can even click and drag this cube. I can look all around this cutter. Now let me click the house again. See how nice of a cutter this is? You've got that thick rounded handle, you've got a support wall, you've got a cut edge, and right now let's see if it pulled up in Prusa. Okay, it didn't, but that's okay. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to click OK, and now it's going to come up in Prusa. There's my cutter, ready to print. Doesn't that look nice? Right here you can see Slice Now, and I have my settings for my Ender Pro and my Ender Pro 3 in here. I use the same settings. And I have a video in the club to show how to set up all these settings. It's basically just a few tweaks to the default settings in Prusa. I love the Prusa slicer. You can see right down here, when I click Slice Now, it is going to compute, and it's going to show me my cutter, which looks really nice. And if you look right down here, you can see the meters, the used filament in meters, millimeters cubed, the used filament in grams, and the cost is 42 cents for this cutter. It's going to take 2 hours and 10 minutes to print. It takes a little longer with Bella because you have this nice sturdy and thick handle, so it takes a little bit longer, but I don't mind that because I like a nice sturdy cookie cutter. I'm going to click Export G-Code, and I'm going to name this CC Bella, and it is a pumpkin, and I'm going to put 3.5 inches because I want to remember that, and I'm going to click Save. And now all I have to do is put my little SD card into my printer, and I'll have a cookie cutter within 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'll link to the Bella information below in the comments. If you have any questions, you can email me at nancy@thecolorfulcookie.com. If you want to learn how to design cookie cutters in different softwares, if you want to learn how to design cookie stencils, I teach just that in the Colorful Cookie Club at thecolorfulcookie.com. You can see more information about that, and I will link to that in the comments below as well.